This Yankee team has become our pitching better be exceptional.
Yes.
Otherwise, we're not winning.
Well, that's part of it. So let me just say this, and I say this fully knowing that this feels like the meme when the guy puts on the clown mask in front of him. This isn't me trying to be positive Tommy or some of the stuff Chris says. But I left this weekend with the Braves, Tiki, with a lot of hope for this Yankee team. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but it's the truth. I sensed it on Friday off the off day that it felt like it could be a good weekend. And the truth is, the Braves came into New York Yankees, well, Yankee Stadium. I don't know why I was teeing it up with the New York Yankees. They came into Yankee Stadium this weekend, the hottest team in the National League.
Yes.
Winners of 9 straight. And the Yankees battle back on Friday night, have that incredible comeback win of which I was in the building for. Saturday, they wake up, they score a bunch of runs. It's the Lombard Jones show. And then yesterday, my biggest question about yesterday wasn't necessarily will the offense continue to score. It was, is everything all right with Cam Schlittler? And he completely dominated. So here's my reason for hope, Tiki. That is a potential team the Yankees could see in the World Series. Now, I think it'll be the Dodgers if the Yankees are lucky enough to get there.
No, Dodgers can't win right now.
They can't win right now either.
Right.
And what the Yankees just showed you is that when they have those 3 guys dealing at the top of the rotation, that is the ultimate X factor that the Yankees have not had the past couple of years. Now, are the Yankees in some kind of offensive malaise that they can't shake? Of course. Tiki just alluded to it.
The problem is it's been for so long.
Yeah, but, and it's a big but, things are changing and you could sense it. Here's, first of all, at least we now know, as bad as this has been, Aaron Judge, at least there's a pathway to coming back.
Well, he says he's going to be back.
Yeah.
He said he wants to be back before the season's over.
But we got the imaging news last week.
But of course, doing it and coming back and being Aaron Judge is different than just being Aaron, on the field.
I thought you were going to say Aaron. Never mind.
I wasn't, but keep going.
We're off and running. It's only 10:03. But that, they're getting Cody Bellinger back. And you just used the word savior for a certain guy on the Yankee team. Mm-hmm. And the truth is, I'm clutching my pearls as I say this. I kind of think it's accurate.
Don't jinx him, man. Come on.
George Lombard Jr., as unfair this is to him, it's not about pressure, and it's not about me saying it. He is the savior for the New York Yankees.
In what way?
How about this?
Because of his energy? Because of his, well, you know what he gives you is consistent defense. You know that he's going to be elite. You know that he's going to make every play he's supposed to make, and you know he's going to make a lot of the ones he probably shouldn't make. That is encouraging. Defense up the middle it plays forever and is vital, especially against you start playing some of the better teams in Major League Baseball as you get through this part of the summer and get into September and then ultimately in the postseason. It's going to matter what George Lombard is able to do with his glove. I love that. But last night I'm watching this game and we had questions about Cam Schlittler. His last start was not good. And he struggled, and he battled, and it ended after 4 innings. He was dominant. He gave up 1 run, and all of a sudden, in my mind, I'm saying, this feels like Jacob deGrom.
Yeah, they can't score for him.
They can't score for him. And until he was out of the game, it was past him, and Trent Grisham hits a home run, and he no longer has the decision on his ledger. I'm saying to myself, this team is going to waste great outings by some of these unbelievable pitching performances that we're seeing. You saw it from Fried, you saw it from Garrett Cole, and then you saw it from Cam Schlittler. And each of those games will run games. Yeah. Like, it's just not comfortable. I know you maybe we'll get used to them winning that way, but over the last 50 games, Shaun, they're 500. They are an average team. And it's not because they don't have consistent pitching. Their pitching has been phenomenal. They're 500 because their offense sucks. And I don't care what name you want to throw in there. It's just not comforting to be a Yankee fan right now.
It's not. And I'm not saying I'm comforted, but I see signs. And I think the Lombard part is where I see the signs. What he has done in this first week, nothing is like extraordinary. He's only gotten 2 homers or whatever, but there's certain moments. Like yesterday, he's up and he's got 2 strikes on him, and he just has this confident eye where he takes these 2 straight pitches, draws the walk. What he did Friday night where the team was dead in the water 2-0, and he has that little single just by hustling and getting around the bases. And then he obviously makes the play in the 10th inning Friday. Then Saturday, he obviously hits the home run. There are just things, Tiki, where I'm watching George Lombard play this first week, and I'm saying That is different than what the Yankees have had in October in the last couple of years. That guy could create a run at any given inning and saves runs nonstop where it's not going there. And yeah, it's not all on his plate. And yeah, Jazz Chisholm is stunk. And yeah, the catching position has been not addressed and terrible. Yeah, Trent Grisham had 2 hits yesterday, but he has not been great. I know that we will. You're right about Judge and all this. Hey, he says this, we'll see this. But if Judge does get back, and if Cody Bellinger is back, you add what Luis Garcia Jr. has kind of brought to this team here, and you add George Lombard, that is basically 4 bats that have not been here for the freaking malaise of this team. And you combine that with what they just showed you they are capable of on the mound when those 3 guys pitch in a row versus one of the National League's best that they have to offer. How do I not leave at least hopeful?
Yeah, I can understand wanting to see hope, but I think you also have to think about the reality of this Yankee team. This Yankee team under Aaron Boone doesn't win when they're on the road in the postseason. Now, the question is, are they going to be on the road in the postseason?
I think so.
Absolutely. The Tampa Rays don't lose.
That's the other thing.
I mean, it's ridiculous. And their next 5 series are against all sub-500 teams, from the A's, the O's, the Blue Jays, and the Orioles again. Look, the Orioles are coming a little bit, but the Rays don't lose. And they keep extending their lead on the Yankees, and the Yankees are a 500 team. So how are they catching them? And by the way, they might get passed by the Red Sox. Who
Thank God they lost 2 in a row.
77. What did they play? They're playing 700 ball over the last 50 games or so. And so the Yankees are not in an enviable position because they don't have control anymore. I think for a lot of these seasons when we look at the Yankees and we're like, oh, yeah, they're going to get to the postseason and it'll be X, Y, Z and yada, yada, yada. We'll determine whether or not we're anointing Judge finally or the pitching holds up or whatever the story may be. It's felt like they've had control. The Yankees have zero control of their path this year because the Rays are out of control. Ridiculous. They've been
to
this
take
way.
2 or 3 from Atlanta and then not gain any ground on the Rays, or at least keep it steady is insane.
It's insane. And the Red Sox don't lose either. 35-15 over the last 50 games. And it seems seemingly they can win any moment in any game, even when they're down by 6 runs. And so the Yankees don't feel like they have control over what's in front of them. And that's why I'm optimistic, like you say, but I'm also pessimistic at the same time because I see the reality of the hurdles in front of them.
No, totally agree. Look, this is me trying to play chess here and look ahead based on the evidence of what I've gotten the last week. And I'm carving a path. And I would also say, Tiki, you hit on something with the Rays. I also think this goes for me. This goes for most Yankee fans and probably should go for the Yankees themselves. Chasing down the Rays would be a lot of fun.
Yes.
But right now, you can't help the fact that the Rays don't lose baseball games. You have to see what the next 50 games or whatever the hell's left at this point provide. But I think we almost need to change our algorithm in our brains. Work with me on that word, on what we expect from the Yankees.
You're right.
And that is, I got to stop worrying about the division. I almost have to stop worrying about the Red Sox for now. Now, the Red Sox did lose 2 in a row. I'm concerned. Here's what the Yankees need to worry about. In all honesty, themselves in this way. Do what you did this weekend. Obviously, you'd like to score more runs. Win series. That's what baseball regular season are all about. Mm-hmm. Every team that's in front of you, go take 2 out of 3. Now, of course, you'd like a couple sweeps mixed in there to really gain back a lot of the traction because you'd rather that wild card series be at Yankee Stadium at Fenway Park. But if the Yankees for the rest of the year can just not trip all over themselves and have series like they had with the Cardinals where not scoring runs completely haunts them, or the day they do score runs, they don't get the bullpen help.
Right.
Win these series like this weekend. Win this series with the Mariners. Because little by little, if you win and you start doing the little things, and George Lombard and even Spencer Jones to an extent start chipping in and giving you that young guy energy, and the pitching performances dominate, and you win the 2 out of 3 with the Max Fried, Cole, and Schlittler starts, you're going to get to a point by mid-September when if the other guys are back, that you start realizing this team's a confident baseball team again. Well, and they need to reestablish their confidence, and I think that started this weekend.
I think that this team they're making the postseason. We know that, right? The Texas Rangers are the last team out of the wild card. They're 500.
Yeah.
The Yankees are 14 games over 500.
Yeah, Yankees are going to the playoffs.
It would have to be a colossal collapse over the last half of the season for them to not make the postseason. And so if you're going to argue that once the Yankees get to the forget the previous thought process about this Yankee team. Once they get to the postseason, they're bludgeoned. They hit the most home runs. They score the most runs. All this stuff, it's going to take care of itself. Aaron Judge is finally going to have his postseason to remember and stamp himself in the legacy of blah, 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 yada, yada nonsense. If you're willing to look at this iteration of this Yankee team and say, they're going to make the postseason, and then they have the best pitching matchups against anybody they face.
Yeah.
Then they can win any single one of these games in any of these series. You can be optimistic about that.
That's what I'm choosing.
But it's hard to think about that when you look at how the Yankees have always won. And it's by being dominant at the plate and bludgeoning bullpens, bludgeoning inferior pitching. They're not even doing that.
No, they're not.
Against bad pitchers, they look average.
Yeah, without a doubt. But they always have their bats go silent in October anyway.
Mm-hmm.
What they fail to do is get enough outs to counteract that, which is why I'm choosing to be optimistic. And I do think they now have a table setter, which will bring me to like my Thor hammer last point that I brought up last week at the end of the week with Evan. I don't care that he's a rookie. I think that think about all the things that have evolved in baseball, okay? Lefty-righty splits.
Mm-hmm.
We have a runner at second base now. No longer is your best hitters hitting third or fourth, right? You try to put them at the top of the order. My point is we evolve in baseball a lot, right? So why are we still stuck in our ways that a rookie who's only been here in a week has to hit at the bottom of the order? Just bear with me. Can we just think sensibly without overreacting and screaming and yelling? There is pressure that comes with being the shortstop of the New York Yankees.
Of course, and he's handling it with
ease.
Right.
There is pressure with the fact that everybody knows you were the untouchable prospect that wouldn't be traded to make this team better when people thought they were better World Series contenders the last 2 years. George Lombard is no stranger to pressure. And George Lombard has burst on the scene in a time when the team needed him the most and just looks like he's 15 years into the league as far as a veteran goes.
He really does.
So I know that he had a big 2-hit game, and Trent Grisham did yesterday out of the leadoff hole. But before that, we're going on 7 weeks bleeding out from that spot. I don't know how, again, with an off day today for the second time in basically a calendar week, or not a calendar week, in a week, the Yankees have an off day. You've already risen him out of the 8 spot to the 7 spot, the 6 spot. George Lombard Jr., the best version of the Yankees, is going to feature him hitting leadoff. And I'd rather do that sooner rather than later. Does that mean it changes everything offensively? No, but I know this. I want to see him get more looks at the top of the order, and I want to see less of Trent Grisham hitting at the top of the order.
Yeah.
And you can't, while this offense struggles, you can't just keep running Jazz and Grisham out there hoping things are going to change in their same little batting spots. Let George Lombard be the table setter and stop giving me this nonsense that there's too much pressure on him because he's a rookie. He has handled everything with ease. Throw some more pressure on him.
Yeah, look, I think we had this conversation last week. I'm pretty sure we did. Talking about his dad, because his dad was at his first game. He goes yard. He watches his brother hit a home run as well via iPhone or whatever device they were looking at. And
I think they were Droid guys.
Yeah, maybe they are.
I'm just kidding.
Who cares? But my point is, I honestly believe that players, and this isn't a knock on anyone who isn't in this situation, but young players who had parents that did it have just a mental edge because they've been talked to about this forever.
Right.
Right? It's even, I used to do this with my kids. And I knew that they probably weren't making it into the NFL. You know what I mean? When they were in high school and then they're in college, they're in Ivy Leagues, for Christ's sake.
But you had real life mileage to pass this to.
100%. So I would give them just advice about how to handle situations. You know what? When you have this kind of day, you got to handle it this way. You got to say all the right things, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that, look, I'm passing on experience. It's what you do. And so the fact that George Lombard's dad, who played just a little bit, but also he's a man, he's a coach in Major League Baseball, helps him immensely.
Yeah,
because he's not any of these moments that come up. He also has somebody he can just call.
That's true. Who's lived it?
I mean, he could obviously talk to his teammates, I'm sure, but it's just different when it's your dad. And there's something to that. It's like you see in football, like all of these Palaxico's kid, Bettis's kid. They're all going to Notre Dame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's they're going to make it. Like Larry Fitzgerald kid is there now. you know it because their dads help them. They obviously have to have the athletic ability, which George Lombard Jr. has. They have to have the baseball acumen, which clearly George Lombard Jr.
God, does he?
has.
Yeah.
There is that mental side of it that you just have an advantage when your dad did it.
I think that's totally plausible. It makes all the sense in the world on why he's handled this with ease. But I'm telling you, Tiki, I watch him, and I have a pretty good track record. I said this last year after Cam Schlittler's first start. Remember, it was you and I sitting here, and I said, that kid's untradeable. You could tell there's something a little extra there.
Well, he has an edge.
He has an edge. And I'm getting the same sense here with George Lombard a week in. There's a quiet confidence that borders on cockiness edge. He's just so freaking smooth.
Right.
And it's both offensively and defensively that I just want to see more of him. I don't want to see a team under normal circumstances. I'd be with everybody. Hey, let Derek Jeter hit ninth, right? Like, let George Lombard hit. This is not normal circumstances. The Yankees lineup actually needs George Lombard Jr., which is a sad indictment. I would throw it at him. I'd throw the book at him. Yeah, I'd hit him at the top of the order now.
Yeah, and the reason you can is because what you're doing isn't working.
That's exactly it.
Right. So what do you have to lose?
Right.
You don't have anything to lose. It's hard to do it because he's just a kid.
Yeah.
He's in his debut season, and Aaron Boone doesn't have the data to back it up. But sometimes you just got to go with your gut.
Yeah. And I could argue he's helping wake up the bottom of the order, too, because we saw, throughout the weekend, Ryan McMahon and Austin Wells each have big hits, hitting right behind George Lombard. Maybe it's a good thing for Ben Rice and Luis Garcia Jr. to have him there. So, look, that's the camp I'm in. I've seen enough of George Lombard to know I'm a little more bullish on the Yankees than I think a lot of people are now, and this comes from somebody who was screaming and yelling at the deadline. I think the signs are there, and the signs all start with George Lombard, that this could be a different final 50 games, and the Yankees need to stop worrying about the Rays and just stash series wins like they did, and hopefully, just hopefully, the conference could go. Does that mean with clown makeup? Maybe it is.
Maybe, but I also look at this team and see 500.
Yeah.
I can't help but see 500.
So cold water Tiki here.
It's not even cold water Tiki. It's just a reality. It's reality Tiki.
Tiki believes in science. And we will do plenty of
science and math are never wrong.
You're right.